Hi, I am Sam. I'm a student physiotherapist from Curtin, and today I have Ellie here with me to do some manual muscle testing. This video is instructional and it's going to teach a bit about how to do manual muscle testing, some of the conventions involved. And yes, so Ellie, she is a simulation patient, so we're going to say that she has a 2+ grade on her left arm and a 4+ grade on her right arm. Obviously in a physio situation you wouldn't know this if you're going to be testing. You wouldn't test if you already knew this, but just so that we're aware of what we're testing for, this is the process you would go through if you're testing for that. So you always test the unaffected arm first, or the unaffected muscle. So we'd be assuming that the right is probably going to be unaffected for Ellie, considering that her left is the one that's the 2+. So Ellie, the important thing is I need to ask consent to put my hands on you. So is it okay if I put my hands on you to do so? Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Awesome. So what I want you to do is, can you hold out your right arm like that for me? Okay. So now I'm going to test for a grade 3 first. A grade 3 means that she can move her arm against gravity through full range of motion. Notice that I stabilise the proximal end of the joint and I palpate the biceps muscle as she moves her arm up. So what I want you to do, Ellie, is I want you to do that. It's important you show an instruction of the movement so the patient is aware of what is expected of them. Okay, can you do that for me? Mm-hmm. Thank you. Great. Okay, and you always repeat this one more time. So can you just do that again for me? Mm-hmm. That's great. Okay, so we know that Ellie can move through full range of motion against gravity in elbow flexion. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of resistance against her. So I'll put the resistance at this distal end of the arm here, and I'll ask you to do that movement just one more time again. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. And again. Again, remember to repeat and always stabilise the proximal end of the joint. Okay, so we now know that Ellie can qualify for a grade 4. What we'll do next is we'll test for a grade 5. You go in increments of numbers and then you test for the plus grades. So, Ellie, I'm going to put maximal pressure against this distal end here, and I want you to try and bend that elbow again. Can you do that for me? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's alright. One more time, try again. Okay, so this is something that Ellie can't do. So now we know she doesn't qualify for a 5 on the Oxford Muscle Scale. So, the last thing I'm going to do, Ellie, is I'm going to ask, can you try that one more time? And I'm going to go a little bit in between the one you managed to get and a little bit less than the one that you didn't get, okay? Mm-hmm. Alright, ready? Go. That's great. And one more time, make sure they get through full range of motion, so just go one more time, all the way, that's good, okay. Okay, so what we've assessed about Ellie is that her right arm can get to the 4+ grade of muscle action, meaning that she is able to move against almost maximal resistance in elbow flexion through full range of motion. Now what we'll do is we'll test the left side. Notice that I'm using this chair so that I can have a good body position to handle Ellie, because otherwise I'll be bending over and that's going to be really bad for my back. If you've got lots of patients, that's going to be painful. It's not going to be a good thing. Okay, so Ellie, we're going to do the same with your left arm. We're going to start at number 3. So what I want you to do is I want you to put out your left arm, just the same, and I'll run through that movement again with you. Ready? Just like that. So it really is the same thing on this left side here. Stabilising the proximal end, and then we'll palpate for muscle contraction. So, can you do that movement again for me? Okay. Can you try one more time? Okay. So what I've noticed is Ellie can't move her arm through full range of motion in a gravity-resistant position. But what I did also notice, because I was palpating that bicep, was that she did have a palpable muscle contraction. Therefore, I'm going to go down towards number 2. So, I'll stand up for this, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have your arm out like this, okay? So I'll just lift your arm up for you. So notice how when her arm is in this position, there's no gravity affecting the flexion of the elbow. So, Ellie, this movement again I just want you to do. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to provide any resistance, I just want you to see if you can get through that on your own, okay? Mm-hmm. Awesome, can you do that for me? That's good. And one more. Okay, that's great. So we've established that Ellie can pass for a 2, which is achieving full range of motion without any gravity affecting her. So what I'm going to do now, Ellie, is I'm going to test if you can qualify for a 2+. A 2+ means I'm going to put a little bit of resistance against you, so it puts you between the 2 and the 3. Does that make sense? Okay, can you go one more time for me? That's great. Okay. And again. So notice I don't even have my hand in front of Ellie's arm there because you barely need any resistance. You're just trying to be a little bit less than what gravity is. Okay, I'm just going to put your arm down there. So, the important things to remember in this are to test the unaffected side first. Make sure you always ask for consent before you touch a patient, and to actually explain to a patient why you're doing that muscle testing. I don't actually know what Ellie's problem is, so I can't explain that to her. She's not a real patient. But if this was a real situation, you'd be expected to explain what the value of this muscle testing is. For example, you might say, I know you're having some weakness in your left arm. We want to assess how weak that is, just so we can get an idea of what kind of programs we should put you on for exercising so you can get yourself back to normal strength. Another thing you need to be doing is to be jumping or in increments of the numbers and then going through your pluses. So notice how I always went up to number 5 before I went down to 4+. And always start at number 3, the gravity resisted position, full range of motion in gravity resisted position. So one thing we need to talk about here is the recording. So you would do this in your patient SOAP notes kind of as soon as you really can, so you're not trying to hold it in your head. I've given 2 examples here. You could do it in a table, like at the top there. The benefit of this is that this could be for a lot of different muscle groups you're testing. You could show each muscle group and then what happened on the left side and the right side. Alternatively, you could just say, because we only tested the left and right side of her elbow flexors, manual muscle testing performed on elbow flexors, right 4+, left 2+, put that in the notes and that would be fine as well.